Hello? Can you hear me? I guess so. Okay. Um, all right. So first of all, excuse me. Oh, you definitely, this video is now ruined. Um, the Covington High School kids should not be harassed. I personally didn't like any of the Facebook posts or anything as people were reacting. To me, I thought there might be more to the story, or there had to be, because there's nothing really in the story of the thing. In the long run, I even think that that kid that got the most abuse, that was with the grin, um, was trying to be peaceful. I think he made a mistake in the way he did it. I thought about going into what happened, but it is sort of besides the point. I mean, they shouldn't be harassed. They have to take some heat for they took part, got in political activity, and got themselves in the news, found themselves in the middle of a news story. And if you watch all the video, there's some answering, especially that the school probably would have to do. But, you know, they should be able to go along with their lives from a thing like that. My real thoughts about a subject like that is it's just not as important. And I certainly am not spending any time in my life like making sure I never hire one of those kids or anything whatsoever. It goes back to this issue about, if you want to claim that something's an important problem, you have to have some measurement, some measurable thing. The idea that, oh, but look, these people want to do this, and that's a problem. People can't do this, so therefore we're going to have to automatically spend billions of dollars stopping it because isn't it what? You don't want to prevent a problem? Obviously, it'd be a problem. Yeah, well, when the Nazis look like they might be an actual problem, you got to do something about it, for example, would be one of my examples. But, if you think, for example, if you think murders by illegal immigrants running across the border is a big important problem, you're going to have to show me the crime statistics. Because otherwise, it's like if you have $5 billion, you can't just say, well, we'd stop these crimes. Yeah, if the $5 billion is going to stop, X number of criminals, assuming it works, then what if we spend that $5 billion some other way? Maybe we'd stop more than X, and quite likely we would, because you see the priorities through the actual ramifications of these things. That you're worried about something, or that something obviously could become a problem, doesn't mean it's time to spend billions of dollars on it. All right, because there's too many things like that. What if everybody started believing the flat Earth theory was true? And, our communication system on Earth would fall apart because the satellites would fall down. Yeah, we don't need to spend billions of dollars. I mean, if a candidate was almost winning president and believed that, we'd have a serious problem. If there was a candidate getting 20% of the vote, I'd say we have a serious problem. You might want to even spend some social money to figure out about that problem. But you don't just do it just because, well, if they took over, it'd be bad. I mean, you have to measure because there's always one or two or 10 or even 50 or 100,000 people of some particular view. It's not really a threat until it actually is a measurable threat. And that's the kind of thing we should be paying attention to. Right? And you could cast aspersions and try to say people have to be that it's black and white since the media um, like over portrayed them or didn't explain that they had been provoked. You know, that since the media didn't explain that, you have to be on the side of they were innocent, right? Because it's innocent or guilty, and therefore, since somebody smeared them, it's like if somebody calls a thief a murderer, you have to think they're not even a thief. It's like, no, because if you're into getting the evidence, then you will go determine, oh yeah, they weren't a murderer, but they were a thief kind of a situation. So these kids did act out in an objectionable way, I think. Should it ruin their lives? No. Should people harass them? No. Did you see me making any videos trying to harass them or even make a big deal of it? Um, what I had said only was what happened. Yeah, they were provoked into bad behavior, and then the I forget what was it called, Indigenous Peoples March. Some of the people from that tried to separate the two. Unfortunately, the kids kind of came up and pressed, and extended the situation against the line that was really keeping the two opposing sides apart. So, there's a real situation and you see the real situation. I'm not going to go, they're saints and the whole story is how they are saints but were made out to be villains. I will simply say, you shut the sheriff but not the deputy. And we ought to be paying attention to things. I mean, we're taking so much data in this world for the last 100 years, really good data, but even 150 is pretty fucking solid data of a lot of indicators where you could go and look and find out what the real problems are, right? Like, is opiate addiction a real problem? How many people are dying from it? That's the answer. So that's what, yeah, it really is. Is LSD addiction a real problem? Sure, for an individual. Socially, it's not causing a lot of death. So we could get to that after the opiates, right? It's very simple. Those are the more important issues, not all of these cultural things that God only knows why they're more fascinating to everybody. I don't know.